Hey, good morning. It's Thursday, and on Thursdays I step back from whatever the topic of the week is and talk about meditation, about the practice. And in particular, I like to take any comments or questions that have come in through the week and try to answer those, right? Try to uh, help explain some of the things I might have said that didn't come across right or that just need a bit more clarification. So this week has been a tough week, right? Nobody wants to turn on a YouTube channel and hear some dude talk about the essential transparency of mortality, right? Or whatever other stuff I was going on about. So I want to bring it back uh, to the fundamental practice of meditation. Everything comes from the understanding of the self that is recognized through meditation. But I want to add to that, because I think this is really important, that that understanding and that awareness on its own, I don't think is sufficient for the ultimate objective, which is the reduction of suffering, whether that's mental suffering, emotional suffering, physical pain, your pain, my pain, right? If the, sorry, I'm fidgeting around a bit more than usual. Uh, the the direction of practice is alleviation of suffering, alleviation of anxiety that can be caused because of uh, attachment to false understanding, incorrect understanding. Um, but even with that clarification, with that sort of hardcore recognition that the concretized self is an illusion, what remains then is a non-concretized self, right? A procedural, a process of selfing, of becoming. And what I've been talking about a lot in the last couple of weeks is that the line between the process of becoming that is associated with this metabolism and this set that is me and the set of karma and experiences that is you and the set of karma and experiences that is broadly cosmic, at a certain point that line becomes a bit blurred. But I'd like us to think about that line that determines the interactions between two or more recognized compassionate processes. Let's say that that's a functioning definition of a human being, right? A compassionate process. Now you have two of them in the same space or in the same video. Um, the dynamics, the interaction between them, uh, let's say that that is ethics. Now, in some of these videos, use the word aesthetics. Uh, and I am taking that word a lot out of context, right? Aesthetics in a university course would be the study of uh, what is considered beautiful or what is considered art. Different movements of thinking about the creative process. What I mean when I say aesthetics, uh, I mean the effusion of narrative that we, as part of that unfolding process, by default, we as humans create this effluvia of narrative, whether that's interpreting experience, whether that's fantasy, whether it's delusion. I mean, not all of this is positive. That this surrounds us. And it's plastic, right? We can shape it. We shape it first and foremost by the input that comes to our mind, whether that's media or physical action, like controlled practice, whether that's sitting on a cushion or running a marathon. Like, decisions shape the plasticity of that aesthetic, whatever halo that flows around us. There's an ethical imperative, and maybe one reason that I shy away from the word ethics is because it has such a judgmental and negative connotation in our society. But I'm going to try and rip that away and really boil down to compassion, kindness, maybe nothing more than that. What if we were to say that the attention to detail in our thoughts and actions. Look, here's the thing. Here's what I think, and I think hopefully this helps. It's helping me think it through. There's a way in which we define a set of precepts to cultivate a certain kind of behavior that makes it easier to meditate. And we want to meditate because meditation is the direct path to understanding the nature of self. And understanding the nature of self is the route, the path to alleviation of suffering. We can cultivate that by saying, I will not kill. I will not slander. I will not engage in improper sexual conduct. I will not seek intoxication that deludes the mind. Not because those precepts make me a better person, but because it cultivates a condition that lends itself to the project. Okay, but the other way of thinking is once you arrive at this recognition, again, this recognition of sort of the precipitant nature of consciousness and the inherent compassion of that experience, from that point, the true actions are compassion and kindness. The precepts become the behavior of the compassionate mind. Right? It's a very traditional way of thinking about things. Do we incrementally approach, or are we instantaneously enlightened and then stabilize the experience? I'm just framing it a little bit differently. For me, I have always felt that for me, I am an incremental approacher, right? I've been meditating and practicing in some form with varying degrees of discipline, veering between very, very disciplined and, not at all disciplined for decades at a time. I've been following some kind of path since I was a teenager. It's a long time now. 40 years. And within that 40 years, maybe there's 3 years of really condensed proper practice. So it could be that the slowness of my practice as things stabilize is simply due to my lack of, maybe I'm a bit lazy, I'm not sure. But that's how it's felt for me. I know other people who and I can see something just clicked. their heart changed, and then their mind needed to catch up. Right? Okay, so meditation, sitting on the cushion, is foundational, but it is surrounded by the rest of the practice, which training in ethics, training in wisdom, and I would boil those down to, and I'm going to say this is for me, I'm saying this, I'm looking at myself as I say this, but maybe it's true for you too. Get rid of anything that's algorithmic, because algorithmic content is, you couldn't ask for a clearer manifestation of distraction. So I'm not saying don't read, I'm not saying don't use the internet. I'm saying find sources that are curated by a person or by me. Right? So stay away from social media and cultivate physical balance. Stay hydrated. Exercise. None of this is magical. Right? So again, no particular question today, but I just wanted to reflect on the centrality of the meditation practice, but central to what? Central to all these other ideas and context and concepts that are absolutely necessary. You may think that, like the Prismatheon project that I talk about, or music or poetry, that these aren't the necessary context for you, and that's good. What I'm talking about here is a structure that you get to fill in, but be conscious of it, that these other elements are affecting the neuroplasticity of your experience, and that's all we have. So why not flood your inputs with the message and meaning that we want to cultivate, and then allow the process to unfold, knowing that from that position of precipitant consciousness, the unfolding will look a lot like this, I think. Struggling with concepts, sort of stumbling around with projects that look bizarre or meaningless, whether that's music or art or some other work that you're doing. But that connection is absolutely essential. So, all right. Can't remember what the topic is tomorrow. It's the last of the week. Talking about clearing the veil, embodying the framework. So I look forward to seeing you there. And as always, if you do have questions, drop them in the comments and I'll get back to them next Thursday. So thank you. Keep your wits about you.